Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for another episode of Chaise Chat. Here with your girl, Alicia Joy and Ann Wright.
Hi, everyone.
Super excited to have you on again. If you missed last week's session, definitely go back and watch it. We had a phenomenal discussion with Pastor Shannon Wright, who is running as the Republican candidate for mayor of the city of Baltimore, and
Yes.
she really brought it home with some amazing points. Opened up our eyes for some things that we weren't familiar with so much, so that was really exciting. So thank you, Ann, for arranging that, getting her
Yes.
on so that we could speak with her and ask some questions. This week, we're going to get started, or rather continue the conversation, and I'm so honored to have my friend Kris on the line with us. Kris and I kind of go way back from, college days. We did a program together, and he actually was beginning his career in law enforcement recently, and some things changed. So I'm not going to steal his thunder and take away from his story, because I definitely want to get into that, hear his side of things, hear how, he decided to make that decision into law enforcement, and what kind of led to where he is now. But again, welcome to Chaise Chat. Happy to have you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Yes.
So, Kris, thank you for getting on with us. We are so glad that you could hop on, share some things with us. We definitely wanted to get some new perspective. I think that we haven't really heard some behind the scenes, so to speak, talk from anyone in the law enforcement area. So tell us how you got started with your career, what made you choose that career, and what altered your decisions down the line.
All right, so my passion for law enforcement, it just happened recently. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're a little bit low. Just
okay. What about now?
Yes, good.
Better. Yes.
Okay. All right, so my passion for law enforcement transpired about 5 years ago. I had a mentor who introduced me. He's a law enforcement. He's a big company, one of the big wigs in the country. Me growing up, I didn't think too highly of the law in my area. So just a little backdrop. I stand on the northeast side of Houston. Right. So recently, the HPD cop went on a racist tirade about people in the community. I'm talking about my community. How our community don't do well. People walk around with their heads down, disrespectful. How people take care of the kids. How crime rates never gonna change. And he's been on the job for 25 years. But the station he told that, like literally 5 minutes from my house. All right.
We're getting a little bit of an echo in your background.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. Is that better?
Yes, go ahead again. So we got you at the 25 years that he was in the force?
Yeah, so he's been in the force for 25 years. 25 years, and his perspective has changed from the person he came along man to today. So I was recently in an community college academy class last year, and just you how small the world is. My professor, that was her old partner. So her old partner.
Okay.
So this is she's older white lady too. Doesn't think like he thinks to a certain extent, but still have the same mentality. But they were partners for over 10+ years. But that goes to show you how cops in this area think. So when I was in the academy, my experience was it wasn't a bad experience, but it's still a good old boy system. There's a good old boy system to where, you're a person of color, you can go so high. And it's harder on me, my colleagues look like me, and my other peers. So they took it as kind of like being in the frat to where they break you down to where you want to be. So my experience, it was a little different. I got called out a lot. I work around the edges. You know, one of my colleagues, African American male, also was told that he's too hood sometimes, or they'll do these things to break you down to be what they want you to be, you know. And like I said, it wasn't a bad experience at the academy. I do plan to go back in the future, but something to change, you know. And so policing in my area, I believe I don't agree with it. You know, in order to be effective policing, you have to have community policing. When I say community policing, is it still echo?
No,
Or,
I don't hear it echo. Do you hear it echo in it? Is he good?
Just a little bit, a little
Okay.
bit.
okay. I'm gonna take my headphones off in a second. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now we can't see you.
All right.
There you go.
So, okay, so in my area, said northeast side of Houston, police is kind of backwards. All right. So the dynamic is in this area, you have all white cops that come from the rural country parts of town of Texas. You know, so their knowledge of Black African Americans kind of gets screwed. They're stuck in stereotypes. They don't know that's how they address you. You don't have African American cops that grew up in the area, Hispanic cops that grew up in the area. You don't have the type of policing in my community. My community, you have rural cops that have no insight of what's going on. You know, like my community is a cowboy community. You know, we have a lot of trail riders, right? A lot of cops don't adapt to that. You know, it's also, you know, urban car part. It's also considered the hood. You know, but it's a mix. You know, a lot of these cops, they don't adapt to that their lifestyle. You know, but they're stuck in stereotypes. You know, so for me, in order to, I wanted to get into be a cop. You know, my passion to be a cop is create that change. You know, in order to create change, you have to be part of the change. You know, so like I'm firm believer in community policing. In order to effectively community police, you have to be able to stay in your environment, stay in your neighborhood, get people respect you, trust you. If something happens, you can diffuse it, you can de-escalate it without even getting physical. You know, you don't have to even stay in the neighborhood. You can even still be willing to have open ear to understand. You know, talk to people, not assume, press judgment, come off aggressive. You know, that's an issue my part of town has. You know, a lot of Houston like this. You know, a lot of cops that are older, probably good old boy system. They don't want to create change. You know, recently, last weekend there was a police lives matter protest. You know, downtown City Hall, and I understand to a certain extent. You know, I understand like not all cops are bad cops. You know, don't get me wrong, right? But this protest is kind of backwards because there are a lot of things about to change, you know, like with police brutality, you know, a lot of cops about to be accountable for how they treat people. These cops they want to fight against those type of laws, you know. That I don't agree with, you know. So I do agree that in order to create change, you got to be part of the solution, you know. I'm a firm believer in that. That's why I want to reach out to law enforcement. But you know, like there is a good old boy system that has to change. You know, good old boy system. You have to get older people out to have a native way of thinking about certain colors. All they see is colors. Let people more progressive that don't see colors, you know, that want to create change come in, you know. So for me, it's a standstill. You know, in order to create change, you got to be part of the solution. And a lot of the police are not part of the solution.
Those are some great points. So just to recap.
Hold on, I can't hear you. Give me a second. Can you hear me?
Yes. So can you hear us?
Hold on.
Sorry, guys, having some technical difficulties today, but we're going to work through it.
I'm back.
Okay. So what you were essentially saying is that you saw in your community that there was a clear divide between, you know, the older generation of policing versus the community, and there was a
Yes.
disconnect because they didn't come from the area, they weren't familiar with the community, there was no relationship there. So whenever they try to go into these communities, they fail to connect with the community to get the proper result, because they're not really in touch with how to properly communicate and gain that respect from their community.
Exactly.
So you saw that and said, okay, well, maybe I can affect change by going into my own community, you know, learning about law enforcement, getting involved in law enforcement, so that I can be one of the ones to go out there and bond the two together to get a positive outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And so in your time through the academy, through your training, what you saw was that there is a system in place that makes it hard for people of color to advance in the system, get up to a certain rank, so that they can really affect the principles and the rules, and so to speak, in that system. So that's some really interesting points, and you know, I think that's great that you did say, okay, let me see how I can, you know, be a part of the solution in my own community. Another thing also.
So I look at the things in a different way too. Like my own man boy passed away, was 68 years old, right? So he's from the heart of segregation. He's from the country. So he grew up black, white, black on one side, white on the other side, right? You know, so that's where he comes from, right? And his generation, their mindset is not going to change. So you have a lot of these cops from that generation also, to where their mindset is stuck. You can't change that, you know. So a whole lot of cops to where it's a standstill in law enforcement, you know. So all they see is black, white, you know. That's what they teach, you know. So that mentality is one of the big mindsets they have to change, you know. So you have a lot of that old time cowboy cop, good old boy system in Texas, you know. So a lot of these cops, the older generation, from baby boomers and up, they're stuck, you know. Mentality stuck, and that creates bad policing in the community, you know.
From your perspective, what do you think needs to be done in order to, you know, and past just, you know, filtering out the older generation, but what do you think would be the best way to approach, you know, what could you do as far as who to approach within the leadership, within the system? For me as a civilian and for other civilians, what could we do to try and help push forward change, and to kind of further merge that bond between the community and policing?
It starts on the grassroots level first. You know, you need to build trust in community. You know, that's first level. Build trust community. Second, it starts in the police force. You know, you need to get these officers to understand not everybody, person of color, minority is a bad person. You know, you need to more redirection training, more culture training, you know. Take the officers out of their comfort zone, let them experience different cultures, you know. Need more compliance. You know, you need whole office of compliance of things they say and things they do. You know, you need to be a better vetting system. You know, you need to thoroughly evaluate who a person is, where they come from, how they perceive racism, these things like this. Things like that. Higher up, there needs to be more laws in place to protect civilians, you know, from police brutality. You know, really all a person can do when they feel like they're harassed by the police is file a complaint. Majority of the time, a complaint sits on a desk before it gets addressed later on down, years later, right? There needs to be more of a vetting system for these complaints. You know, need more compliance. Hold officers accountable. You know, if the officer feels he can get away with it, he'll continue to be racist, continue to do certain things, because he knows he gets a golden ticket. You know, there needs to be more of a compliance. You know, hold this man accountable of saying certain things that's going against the creed of his badge, you know? Above that, higher up, there needs to be more laws, you know, to protect citizens from police brutality, you know, and to be implemented training. You know, like our training in police academy is to fight violence with violence, right? It's not to see color, to fight violence with violence. Somebody come up with you aggressive with violence, you turn the same force. Right? So that mentality, but you do have cops, we call them, they're trigger happy, so like we call them bunny rabbits, where their first instinct is shoot, pulling a pistol, shooting a gun, right? Those are some of the worst cops to have because it could be anything. They'll shoot. And you've seen these type of cops on TV. You know, you've seen type of cops, police force, where you can get anything. They get scared. Maybe it's color of your skin. They get scared, and you come off aggressive, or you make a certain turn. They get scared. They shoot. You know, that's just the instinct. You know, so you have to redirect that type of training. If a cop is timid like that, they shouldn't be on the streets. You know, no matter how dire need you have for cops. The cops timid like that, they shouldn't be on the streets. You know, what I experienced in my academy is you have cops like that, they still got to pass because at the end of the day, it's about numbers. You know, it's about numbers.
I have a question. So what is the
Yes.
psychological profiling that they're teaching, and what type of psychological profiles do the candidates have to pass to be selected? Because I know it's about the numbers, but
So
if they're not passing the psychological profiling part, how are they getting in?
So in Texas, it's called a L3. L3, you look it up, this one come up, T code. L3, it's a physical or psychological evaluation. And I've took it numerous times. And you meet with a licensed state police psychologist, and she asks you a series of questions, and it doesn't really evaluate who you are mentally. They don't get that. You know, when you get on an agency, same thing. Take it up under L3, it's the same thing. They ask you a series of questions, and you have to fill out a survey that asks you questions. You know, it's really about, they're more concerned about the financial situation, you know, how you working under stress. And those are the type of questions they ask you. They don't evaluate in detail who you are mentally, you know? So think about that. If the evaluation is not an intense assessment, who's getting through the cracks?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Then these people are not vetted, you know? So that's another thing too. It needs to be a stronger vetting system, you know? Just like you vet somebody to buy a gun, you're certified to buy a gun, you vet somebody to be a police officer, you know? Education should really matter. It's the vetting system of this right here, you know? You got a lot of people that come out the military that become police officers, they have post-traumatic syndrome. And, you know, they make it in too. And like I said, there needs to be a vetting system, you know? Like some people shouldn't be behind a badge, you know? Especially if they always get color and they're trigger happy. You know, they shouldn't be behind a badge. Or if they are behind a badge, they should be sit behind a desk, you know, till you're comfortable that they're vetted mentally to get on the street, you know? And a lot of times these agencies are short for people, you know, or academies, they just want to get numbers to be quotas, you know, and that's not good because a lot of people fall through the cracks.
Right, right. You have any other questions, Ann?
I got too many questions.
Let's go.
Because for the last couple of programs, we've been talking about the Black Lives Matter issue, which is not an issue that is new. I've said this a million times, that this is an old issue that is now just becoming aware to the other groups because it's now being recorded. So technology has helped the movement that has been going on for centuries, right? So now when you have a state like Texas that doesn't abide by anything national when it comes to anything Black or Hispanic or Asian or anything of any type of ethnic background that is not from Europe, they don't recognize it. So when you have things like this that are going on now, actually yesterday I had a conversation with a coworker and we brought up the fact that they keep getting off for technical issues, like the police officer that walked into some other person's home and shot them in their home.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So one of my cousins, he's a sheriff in Fort Bend. That was that's his colleague. And that was Fort Bend County and Sierra Plantation on the far southwest side of Houston, the suburb. So that was just I'm gonna say, you know, it wasn't bad policing. You know, just lack of communication. You know, and I don't want to get into the specific details. I'll say that off the camera. You know, but we talked about this earlier. I know him, and I know some people that work for Benton County, and it was just a miscommunication and friendly misfire. You know, and that was a total accident. You know, one officer got the call, other officer didn't realize he got the call. The other officer that was there, he didn't communicate that walkie-talkie, dispatch it. Other officer came in, he started him, turned around and shot. You know, and
but it's always okay. I get what you're saying, and I know that there's always a backstory to every story. But the end of every story is some Black person or a Spanish person or Asian person getting shot. Always, always. If that same person that they walked in on was white, the conversation would have been had, the misunderstanding would have been cleared, and then they would have all went about their business.
I agree with you. All people see is color, but just from that situation, that was a total accident. You know, yeah, we see a Black person get shot, white man get shot, but I just think it was more to it. I just think one of them was overworked, stressed out. Also, too, another thing too, a lot of officers work crazy hours because staff agencies are short staff, so you got to take into account how many hours have you worked that day, how many calls do you have. You know, like some officers work 7 days straight, 12, 16-hour shifts. You know, and then play the psyche, you get tired. You know, you could have been so officer could have been drained out. You know, it just depends. You know, his mental. You know, and I just think that situation, you know, how we see it on TV, I don't think that's how it happened. You know, I think it was, like I said, a friendly misfire.
Okay, so all right, so that's one off. What about all the others? Because
like which one?
That's not the first one. There's been in New York, and then they've been in Pennsylvania as well, and there's been in Florida where they'll go into the wrong homes and just start shooting. You know what I mean? True. So it's like okay. So that's one out of the 200 cases that
like the situation in Dallas. I think she didn't get what she deserved. She should have got more than 10 years. You know what I'm talking about, the white lady that shot the Black man in Dallas?
Oh yeah, what's his name? Botham Jean, Botham Jean or Botham George was his name. The guy who was on the news and he was in the church and he was like a choir director or something. Yeah.
I just think, but I get what you're saying. Some of the things you can't make an excuse for, you know, it's overall stupidity. Like, you know, well, I do believe that situation, it should have been more. You know, like they gave her a pass because she was white. Let's be honest. You know,
right?
100%, no question.
You know, and anybody else, if it was say it was a Hispanic woman, she would have been in prison for life.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And nobody would have been playing with her hair. You know, want to give her hugs. You know, so imagine what.
I remember that case. I'm sorry, it just caught up with me.
So imagine if that was a black woman, a Black man that shot that dude.
He would have been shot back.
You know, but that goes to show you how people perceive color. You know,
right, and like, even more so, just a video just surfaced today of one of the gentlemen who was involved with George Floyd's killing was grocery shopping in the store, and the lady walked up to him with her phone and just like, oh, you think you're just going to come in here and shop comfortably, you know, because you just got out of jail on bail or whatever? Like, you just killed a man, and the whole nation, the whole world is responding, and you're just casually grocery shopping, you know. So it goes to show that the system is definitely skewed.
I think also that cop, I don't think he honestly think he did anything wrong.
No, he does not think he did anything wrong. He did not. He does not.
Let me tell you why I disagree. I think he did everything wrong in the book. So I've had tactical training. I had training to where we arrest people. My handcuffs are on my dresser, actually, still, how we arrest people. And nothing in our book how we've been trained physically shows us to put a knee on nobody. Nobody thinks like that and apply force. You know,
Right.
we use a knee. You put the knee right here. You handcuff somebody to search them. You know, you handcuff. I put my knee right here, and I'm putting my hand back to put you to rest. I put my knee to apply pressure so you won't move your arm. That's it. Nowhere near the neck. You know, so I think that was more malicious than anything because that's not even like
Part of
high
the
tech.
training.
That's not even, that's no just
No,
no type of treatment. You
that
know?
was entertainment for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his brother-in-law, Asian dude, he's a coward. You know, like you sit there, you let this man put his knee on his neck, and they think like nothing's wrong. Like that's a coward to me. Like I don't know if you scared of him or you see the same. He see nothing wrong, but I just think for him not to sit there and say nothing, that's a coward. He's a coward. You know.
Yeah, that brotherhood that they have where they see something wrong and they won't say anything or do anything.
That's another thing too. You know, I experienced that. Like I've heard my professor say that the brotherhood is real. You know, but I also have heard him say, if it's wrong, wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong. You know, and these are the good old boys. You know, I've heard some of them say genuinely that wrong is wrong. You know, if he's wrong, then he's wrong. There's nothing to me, my bad you do for you. You know,
Right.
so cops, a lot of cops know what wrong is wrong. You know, they can condone. You see by these marches like cops taking a knee, cops marching with the protesters. They let you know that not every cop thinks like that cop does. You know?
Yeah, but if you don't, even if you stand by and you believe that and you're marching and everything, that's great. But when it's going on, when it's happening, when you see somebody excessively shooting and you're not like, what are you doing? Like stopping it.
Yeah.
That does nothing for the dead person. That does nothing. The person with the broken jaw, the two black eyes that's in handcuffs, the one with the neck now they can't even turn left. You know, like what it does for them. My thing is, wrong is wrong. Okay, this is not Denzel. You know, King Kong does have something on them. They can stop it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You can stop this.
Right.
But did y'all hear about the story recently about the lady named Miss Carol Horn or Carol Thorne? So she was a cop in Buffalo, New York. And 2006, her partner was same thing, had his knee on his neck, choking a dude in handcuffs. So she pushed the cop off for the dude. Black lady, she's on course 19. She pushed the cop off for the dude. The cop punched her, and she got fired, lost her pension in 2008.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because we see that there's clearly an underlying system of support for cops who are found in the wrong, but somehow they get off. There's all the support. There's money that shows up to help them, even if they're, you know, on unpaid leave, all this stuff. They're good. Is there a system in place for cops who see things going on that are not appropriate and they want to speak up? Is there any type of protection for them? You know,
there's
is there
not.
A real
that's another thing too that needs to be put in place. You know, like actually she was on radio talking about how she has a bill she wants to pass. Same thing we're talking about right now. A bill to where a cop won't be in fear of losing their job.
Right.
Or getting turned back, keep turning back against them for doing the right thing, taking a stand, saving somebody's life. You know.
Yeah.
I think like back to what I was saying, it's like I said, the brotherhood is strong. You know, some cops think wrong is wrong, but some cops live by this blue brotherhood, you know, and they're going to protect you no matter if you're wrong or right. And I personally don't agree with that. You know, like you see, that's her situation to where how cops lied against her. That was there, even on scene, people lied against her, saying she was the aggressor. She wasn't. The man punched her. She saved the man's life, you know, doing something, protecting her back, believing in her badge, you know, doing what's right, protecting the servant. but it's still the system didn't work out for her favor, you know. And I think that's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of cops have the mentality, you know, like I've seen it, you know, too. So that I can never agree with. There needs to be more things.
How do we start that movement? How do we start the movement to protect the cops who are reporting?
So for one, she's trying to get awareness by getting the bill passed locally and federally, right? So basically, the bill is protecting cops for doing the right thing, saving somebody's life, you know, somebody that's being abused, you know. So that's what I propose is, you know, pushing that bill on a local level, local governments, also pushing the bill on a state government level, also pushing the bill on a federal level, you know. Like think about it, now's election season. You know,
Right.
2 years to be, you know, Congress season, things like that. So I know, like, in my district is Sheila Jackson Lee, you know, and I have my reservations about her, but I'll talk about that later. But these type of bills you got to put in her hand, get put in place, right? You know, like, this is a time you speak for the people. You know, this is a time people's voices to be heard. You know, you can easily push this bill, you know, get some fire behind it to where it's how you create change on the federal level. You know, you create change on the federal level, will trickle down to local government and state government level, you know? Even on local government level, you know, like, yeah, we're protesting. What's the plan? You know, this should be part of the plan. You know, force the mayor, force the council, force these police chiefs to put this bill in place. You know, protect those cops that want to do the right thing. They don't want to get that people turn their back against them. You know, they want to get fired, lose everything for doing what's right.
Right.
You know,
So
it starts like this. It starts on local level. You know, it takes us, people like me, feel like y'all self, going to city hall, city council meetings. You know, emphasizing this. You know, going to the police chief. You know, showing them these type of things, showing them these bills, what the bill can do. You know, and that's how That's how it starts.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely want to get some more information about that bill because I think that would be huge to, you know, get more support behind something like that.
Yeah, definitely. In corporate America, they have, in human resources, they have this thing about retaliation. Like if you report on someone for doing something clearly wrong for the and there's also lines you can call in and report it. You have that. So that's not being used basically then, because in that they're supposed to do investigations. If there's any type of proof, like now on with social media, there's so much proof out there to back the situations. They're not using that proof because it's not being recorded by in official capacity, but yet the proof is there. Like even with Floyd, we kept seeing that one direction of his knee on his neck, right? But then now there's another angle where you got people protesting at the moment what was going on, but we didn't see that till just now.
You know, it's crazy. I didn't know there were 3 other cops behind the car.
Right, and if it wasn't for that second camera, where you see the people that are protesting, you wouldn't know that there was 5 in total. You wouldn't know that, and you wouldn't know that people were saying you're doing something wrong. What are you doing? And they're just like, mind your business, back up. Mind your business, back up. You killing somebody. We supposed to mind your business. We can't touch you because you're official. So we can't touch you, but you tell us we can't say anything at the same time. You're supposed to ignore that the fact people see you doing something wrong. Because
let me ask y'all something. Let me ask you this question. All right, so recently, a professor of mine was on, you know, Facebook talking about the Floyd situation, and she was saying what happened with the knee was wrong, but he shouldn't be seen as a martyr. What are y'all thoughts?
Who, Floyd shouldn't be seen as a martyr?
Because he said it because he has a criminal record. He's been in prison and he had fentanyl on meth in his system.
No. Okay. Just like we didn't, the police officer that walked into a man's house and now he's dead. We're not supposed to look at that as a certain situation, right? So now we're taking the victim and making him something that he's not. Okay, we're not making him a martyr. We're trying to point out the corruption that's been going on since the turn of time. Okay,
I agree.
That is not about him become a martyr. It's about a system that is continuously doing the same thing and no accountability. And I said this, and you'll hear me say this in all the other videos that you'll see about us. Black people, Spanish people are not hanging themselves from trees. You're not doing that. You're not burning your own skin off. Okay, you're not shooting your own self in the head, right? You're not running over your own self with a car. You're not getting dragged behind pickup trucks. You're not tying yourself to the pickup truck to be dragged. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when does that accountability come where I choked my own self out? Really? I'm gonna just let you go a little tighter, go a little tighter. You know, I'm not choked out enough. When does that accountability stand where it's not about the person, it's about the whole picture?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And it's not for them to serve justice on the street. There is a court system in place for that reason. So whether he was robbing something or, you know, had a record or whatever, it is not for that officer to serve justice to that person on the street. They're to go through the system, which we already know is going to fail us, but that's a whole nother story.
What I've been seeing, I see in the police world, it's a split down the line, black, white, right? Like a lot of my peers as a police officer, like I have a lot of friends that came to academy, black dudes, you know what I'm saying? And their stance is, I was a black man before I became a police officer, right? So they get it. But my colleagues that are white, they're saying that he, like I say, he shouldn't be seen as a martyr. They don't get it. You know, they agree that the act was wrong. They don't see the whole scope. I think that's
They're not going to. They're not going to.
Right.
Especially if they're brought up and they go home every night to the same people who've taught them to see black and white. We're taught, and it's so funny because I saw a video where the black guy was getting in the car and his white friend was the passenger. And no, sorry, it was the reverse. It was the white guy that was the driver and then the black guy was the passenger. They got pulled over. He talked to the cop. He pulled out, he went into his pocket, pulled out the wallet. The police officer left, came back with a ticket. Day was done. He mouthed off at the police officer the whole time and everything was fine, right? Same scenario, different car, same driver, same friend.
Wow.
So now the black guy is the driver and the white guy is the passenger. So they get in. The black guy, before he even puts his seatbelt on, takes his wallet out of his pocket, puts it on the dashboard, takes his driver's license out, puts it on the dashboard, takes his insurance cards, put it on the dashboard. And he's like, "What are you doing?" His friend is saying, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm pulling out my stuff just in case we got pulled over. He's like, "Why are you doing that?" He's like, "Because if I get pulled over, you will survive. I might not. So I got to make sure I can do everything possible for me to leave the situation in one piece. So I never have to take my hands out of the officer's view." And the white guy was like, well, I've never heard that before. Because you don't need to be taught that.
That's right. Our reality. You know, like
that's our reality. That's our everyday.
Yeah,
you know?
It's true. Like, so I used to work at the Boy Scouts before I got in the police academy. So I worked at Boy Scouts, I worked at different schools. So I worked at schools in the urban community, right? And you know, the word got out that I was a scared police officer, right? It became kids got scared, and he used to call me a white boy, right? I didn't think nothing of it, but I started thinking about it. Why are these kids scared? Why are these kids think I'm a white boy? All kids see are white cops and being over aggressive. That's just the norm. They seeing their peers or their parents or people they know in the neighborhood get abused by cops or talked down to by cops. So for me, that just resonated with me. Like it struck a match. This is how you create change. You know, these kids shouldn't be scared of cops. These kids should be able to see a cop, know the cop on a first-name basis called Mr. Yada 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 every day on the way to school or playing outside. It shouldn't be a see a cop they want to go inside the house and hide. Somebody's going to jail, you know?
Right.
So that's where change needs to start. You know, it starts on the grassroots level. Don't matter what color creed cop is, it starts on grassroots level. You know, start with kids. You know, a lot of these kids don't know. Like I have a 4-year-old son. He wants to be a cop because he sees his daddy getting ready to be a cop, right? And it starts at an early age. You know, these kids, our generation, our kids, our people need to change the way of thinking. But only change the way of thinking, we need to build a better standard with cops. You know, it's not gonna happen overnight, but standard needs to change. You know, it takes one cop at a time.
Isn't that cop in Texas the one, or is it like Louisiana? The one who, like, he has his own Facebook page and everything, and you see him in the community, and everybody knows him, and he's playing ball and war guns.
I know at least 5 cops like that. I went to school, with college with one cop, and he works for HPD, and he has his own nonprofit. You know, another cop. So actually, a couple cops work for HPD. It's right there on podcasts. I'm centered around strictly community policing, you know, addressing the community, right? Issue in the community, you know. So you have these cops on the ground doing grassroots work, you know. I know some other cops, you know, which I get it thirsted. All they worry about is chasing money, you know. So their biggest thing is not the community, it's the dollar, chasing the dollar. And I can't agree with that.
No.
You know,
no.
like it takes all of us to create change, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, there are a lot of cops out there putting the work in, you know, but
you don't hear about those.
You don't hear about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. So those are the 2 major things we need to do then. We need to make sure that we are recognizing and putting in the forefront the cops who are doing the grassroots work, who are out there in the community, building community, and then also getting behind them and showing them support, you know, through the new bills that are coming out or trying to be enforced, to support them whenever they are speaking up against bad policing.
Exactly.
So, great points. Well, thank you so much, Kris. That's awesome.
No worries. Anytime.
Yeah, this was really great. And one more point before you go, because I think I'm holding back. I'm just letting you know, because there's a lot. But with that community service, I believe that every single police officer, including the captain, should do community service. It should be mandatory to 20 hours a month of community service to be mandatory, and not in your own neighborhoods.
I agree.
In the
I totally agree.
Yes, I think
know, for me, you know, my perspective of community service is similar. Like I did 3 years with AmeriCorps. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with AmeriCorps. It's nonprofit working in the community, right? That changed my whole perspective about life. Like 1 year I worked in Atlanta. We took kids in city school. We took them hiking, you know, in the Appalachian Mountains, right? And I would say Atlanta. This was 2007, 2008. Atlanta. So they had cops that came with us. You know, they'll come pop their head in, you know. But in order to be effective, you have to stay. You know, kids need stability, you know. So back to my point I was saying is, I agree. You know, you need to do certain things on a grassroots level to see, like community service. If you're in a community, working a food drive, working at a farmer's market, you know, help somebody build a house, people see this, sticks in their head, you know. So something happened, you pop up, the relationship is already built.
Right.
You don't have to come off aggressive. You know, they know who you are, you know. So community service, I just think for community service should implement across the board. You have to have the white cops go in the city, in Hispanic areas, African American, vice versa. African Americans go to white areas. You know, it has to be create change. You need to see diversity. You know, no other way to do it. Community service is the key. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. We could go on all day about this stuff. But I
There's
love
so
it.
many levels to it.
It is. It's so many levels. But I love that. And get out there and voting and getting the right people in office. Big deal. Big deal. Community service. Campaign on that. Make that part of the agreement with all of these different laws that they want to put in there. I think community service, at least 20 hours, no less.
Also, too, we need to vote for these judges. You know,
yes, vote for these judges. They're just as
think
corrupt
about
as
this.
us.
You know, think about this. Like, I have family members in prison for life. You know, and one bad judge can write away somebody's life. One good judge can be somebody's freedom. You know, and we don't vet these judges.
Yes.
You know, there needs to be. So I don't see any type of debates with judges. You know,
Right.
Like, you need to know. I don't see any type of debates no more with community leaders. You know, just debate. You know, these people need to be challenged. You know, you see what are their plans. You know, how do they choose to let people out of prison? What plan they have in place? Just different type of reforms they have. You know, just need to be vetted. You know, because just because they're Democrat don't mean their heart is pure.
No.
Right.
You know, and people are learning this. Like, they see a lot of the judges, they came on the Democratic ticket. They might not be for you. You know, so that's all another conversation. That's all another talk. But, yeah.
Awesome. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Giving us some anytime.
Giving us your perspective from, your experience within the industry of policing. So thank you so much. We are so grateful. And you have anything else?
No, I'm gonna let him go.
No worries. Like I said,
definitely gonna bring you back.
Talk, let me know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, guys, thanks again. This has been another episode of Chaise Chat with Ann and Alicia. We hope to see you again next week. Bye.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Happy Father's Day.